Sarah and Emilie, nice to see you. Thanks for being here.
It's good to see you too, Jay.
You're taking the space of the reporters and editors at MJBiz, Daily MJBiz magazine, but we prefer to see you this week because people are gearing up. I'm not saying my bag is already packed, but my bag is out.
You're way ahead of me because I definitely need to pack that bag, but we have a few trips in between now in MJBiz with everything going on. But yeah, thank you for having us. I hope that we live up to the esteem of our amazing editorial team.
Well, Kasakia, he's going to be taking notes and he'll send his notes about the program directly to both of you. But it seems to me, and maybe, you tell me who you want to answer it, but like there seems to be a lot of new things happening on the floor of MJBizCon this year. I've been getting the emails. I'm seeing it. I'm doing something with I'm calling it Team Canada on Friday. But what's the thinking behind that? And what are you most excited about? Is it Sarah?
Yeah. So we have no shortage of new things that are happening at the show. We have more partners than we've ever had at the event. Emilie, I think 60. We had 60 last year, and we have 150 partners this year.
Yes.
So there's just so many things that are happening, from new pavilions on the show floor, new categories, as well as a lot of different new content across the show floor and throughout the program.
Yeah, it's great.
Yes. So Jay, one of the things that you dropped just a minute ago about what you're doing for Canada is actually one of the things that we're really excited about. So we've created a new area on the show floor called the Hub, and we're expanding. We did state takeovers last year, but it was very informal. We just wanted to try to really increase the regional conversations that were happening. We're obviously a national show, but we also know that regional matters, especially in this industry, when regulatory issues come up state by state. So we are doing expanded state takeovers with hosts like yourself. So thank you for rounding up Canada for us. But it's going to be really exciting because it's going to be an area where if you're coming from Florida, let's just talk about Florida. If you're coming from Florida and all that just happened with Florida, you're going to get to meet with other Floridians and talk about the matters that are really important to you. So exactly what in your area is happening? Who can you tap into? Meet people in your area. How can you guys get together and hopefully push something through next time? Boo. We're all very sad about what happened. Unfortunately, I'm just going to go ahead and put in there, it's democracy. We got 56%, what's happening? But it was a no. So again, that's something that you're doing and something that's new this season that I think is really going to expand the conversation. So we obviously start from a national level and the big picture, but we do have these new regional conversations that I think are going to be really exciting. I'm going to sit and listen to some of them, especially for California, because that's where I live, and we need some conversations in California.
Yeah, I feel like everybody feels like they need those conversations, and maybe that's unique to the industry that everyone's like, God, we really need an Illinois conversation. We really need a Canadian conversation, really Florida. So I think it's so super helpful. So in the Hub to actually get together with folks, but also there's going to be some interesting pairings. We're going, I think, with Latin America. We just talked to the crew in Chile, and we just thought of some interesting collabs to do during those takeovers as well. And I think ours is Friday midday. So we're really excited about that.
I like this. Are you trying to say that Canada's getting a little spicy? It's we're going from hockey to the beach?
Well, that's what I said. I was like, they're in Chile. And I was like, well, if you actually met a friend, you could never have winter. You could actually say, I'm going to spend this winter in Chile and that winter here. And you could actually just be in nice weather all the time and promoting the cannabis industry in both places. But obviously people are traveling in. It's going to be a great show, as it always is. And we'll also be there. We're producing content on the trade show floor. Sort of a living room setting, and we have I haven't even checked in with you, but I think we have 50 interviews scheduled, which seems too many to squeeze in 2.5 full days, but we're definitely going to do that. Emilie, what are you most looking forward to having, I don't know how many shows that you've been to in this space, but what are you thinking about as you go in, and then we'll talk about how you prepare for what shoes you wear.
Yeah. Well, the shoes conversation is a whole different conversation. Flats, comfortable. You're going to do a lot of walking.
Fair enough.
I guess what I'm most excited about, honestly, because there's so many different things that we have that are new. It's just being in one space with the entire industry in a few days' time, where you get to have, in my opinion, the most meaningful conversations all year round. Because you're not just segmented with one sector of the industry. We have everything from cultivation to packaging and processing, business services, retail and brand. So you might have a circle where you're talking about legal, and insurance ramifications for the industry from an attorney or an insurance rep. And then at the same time, you have a brand that's talking about branding and marketing and what they're doing and the consumer. And so that's what's interesting to me is I think in a lot of the other shows throughout the year, which are wonderful, and we go to a lot of them, it tends to be very segmented within the industry, whereas MJBiz is really the only and largest show that really encompasses the whole industry. So it is the Super Bowl of cannabis. I mean, we say that. And I know Sarah could probably, she has a ton of things she's excited about too on the sales side in terms of like the new initiatives they've been working on. So Sarah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would agree with that. I mean, it's everything from seed to sale. And I don't want to discount the events that we go to throughout the year.
It would be great if you did that. That would be spicy. We're going to badmouth other people. Just do it here. We won't even.
No, we need more unity.
No, we actually, I mean, in talking about partnerships, we partner with people throughout the industry, whether that is competitive shows. And we don't necessarily consider them competitive because we encompass the entire industry, where, as Emilie was talking about, they have different sectors. And anytime you're face-to-face and do that face-to-face interaction, there's absolutely nothing like it. Any event you go to, you're able to make those connections that make you be able to propel your business, whether that's us or any of our audience.
Yeah.
So in talking about some of the other things that we're doing, so one of the things that I'm most excited about is the Vault. So we actually last year at MJBizCon were able to connect with Mario Guzman as well as his partner Victorine. They head up Voice of the Plant. And we're working with them on bringing the top seed geneticists from US and Europe. So they have hand selected 15 of those top breeders, and they're focusing on that niche exceptional genetics. And they're also going to have a lot of content throughout the event. So you're able to really interface with people that have created iconic strains, whether that's Granddaddy Purple, of course, Gelato, OG, and they're really able to share those insights. They have, I think it's 15 different companies that are going to be coming, and it's nothing we've ever done or seen in the US. I think that Cannabis Europa, Spannabis has done that, but not to this extent. And so we are really excited about having that. They're able to purchase seeds on site. And then going into some of the other things that we're doing, 40 tons. So we've been working with 40 tons for 3 years now. Last year, they did a more elevated activation on the show floor where they had a letter writing campaign, which was very successful, but they wanted to share that stage and that spotlight with some of other brands that are impacted by social equity brands. And so we really focused on social justice. So anyone that is directly impacted or anyone, whether it's themselves or family members. And so we have 16 brands that are coming from across the US, and we're giving them free space. In addition, 40 Tons is also elevating their brand by offering them all kinds of content opportunities on site where they record and they can use that content throughout the show, and just really having those meaningful connections at the show that they would not have had. So some of those brands are like Profit, Simply Pure, Trade Roots, the 1937 Group. We have a Weed Maps retailer village that we are doing. We have a couple dozen brands from Heisman, Dime Cake, Bodega Boys, Lupe Sanchez, all different ones that will be at the show. That's the first time that we're doing that. Really excited about that partnership. And then also Mita. That's a very unique thing that we're doing this year. It's a manufacturing and distribution pavilion. We've partnered with Mita, the Marijuana Industry Trade Association, and they have over 15 states where the space is dedicated for the best manufacturers and distributors That's manufacturing and distribution in different states. And so some of the states are everything from Alaska, Hawaii, California, Florida, and 15 states are represented. And so I think that's a really unique thing that we've not seen as well across the industry. So it's ways for people to expand their business and really get some great partnerships.
And this goes to more sort of accessing the show. Obviously, we'll put a link about how to actually register, but it is, especially if you've never been, it can be overwhelming. Like it is that is the size, scope, connections, all of those things. It is just massive, and the space is massive. Any like tips and tricks?
Absolutely. So download the app. Definitely download download the app ahead of time.
I'm doing that now.
We have over 30,000 people that come to the show, as well as other events that happen throughout Vegas. So my biggest tip is take the monorail if you can. Secondary, take the loop or ride share. Don't try to park at the convention center. You're going to end up, I mean, it's horrible. You're going to have a bad experience. You're going to start with a bad experience. So that would be the first thing. And then once you get there, we've done a lot of new and different things to make it so that the show floor is a lot easier to navigate. We have all the pavilions. They have been separated into different categories like Emilie was talking about, but now they're even more segmented where we try to be very strict on where they can go because it makes it so that the customer experience is so much better. I know before 3 years ago, we had so many comments from attendees saying, oh, it's so complicated to navigate. But now you know exactly based on the products that you're looking for. We have a map and you go to that section that you're looking for and you can look around. We have tons of new wayfinding across the show also to help.
Yeah. I would say, to Sarah's point, I think that the team has done a great job in terms of creating these neighborhoods. So, if you're looking for cultivation, you can go to cultivation. The one thing that I would say is if you're a first timer, yes, take the monorail, do that, wear comfortable shoes, but show up Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. because from 8 to 10, we have what's called our first timers reception. This is where you get myself, Sarah, some of the team that has worked on this event for an entire year. Right. We're going to give you the tips and the tricks and what you should see, what you shouldn't miss, how to navigate the show. We even have a few professionals there to tell you if you get nervous, how do you talk to people? Good. It sounds like a silly thing, but people really, if it's their first time, they're overwhelmed. It's large. They don't know how to navigate the show. And then they get really nervous about maybe approaching a booth or approaching a vendor and having that conversation. So that would be my number one tip. I know 8 o'clock is really early. We get it, but it's the first day of the expo floor opening. So save your partying until Wednesday, Thursday night, maybe.
There's no shortage of parties on Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah. Go light on Tuesday so that you can show up ready to tackle the day because it's full days. And I think that first timers reception it's key for first timers to really get the inside knowledge. Yeah,
it is. It's all the things you said, and then to actually see it in person is unbelievable. And just even the size and scope of the actual building itself can be overwhelming. But I think it is helpful to ease in, but also learn from people who put it together, but B have been there before because it is a super valuable show. You can get a ton out of it, but you got to know how to get the ton out of it. Or the 40 tons out of it.
There you go. And find a buddy. At that first timers reception, you can find a buddy because if a lot of people, if they're the only person on their team that is coming, or, from a dispensary, it's their first time and they're the only one that got, the approval to come or whatever that looks like, find a buddy. Like